A few months ago, when Bloomburrow spoilers were coming out, I took a look at one particular legendary creature, Baylen the Haymaker. It's a pretty cool card and cares a lot about tokens, but in my eyes, I saw four things. It ramps, check. It draws cards, check. It goes nutty with Seedborn Muse, check. And you're playing a token deck, and it's perfect for enabling Overwhelming Stampede, so you have an easy win con, check. As soon as I saw this card get spoiled, I instantly started thinking of a deck based around it, and it only took me two other cards. Finding inspiration like this isn't easy, but I'm going to tell you how I usually get inspired, and hopefully any of you suffering from deck builder's block can use this to get over the hump and start brewing up some cool stuff. Like with my Baylen story, one of the main ways I get inspired is by seeing a commander that I've never seen before, and seeing what sort of cool synergies pop out at me, whether this be some card it works particularly well with, or even as far as an infinite combo. Some of these new ideas can really get my creative juices flowing, even if it's just a couple cards. Another synergy I thought was really cool that I've put a little bit of thought into is the activated ability on, give me a second, Asmarano Mardukadicin Akoldakar. Nailed it. And Repercussion. I've sort of put this idea on the back burner, but this idea was really cool to me at the time, despite it being a relatively simple synergy. Another example is using one of my pet cards, Wilderness Reclamation. This summer I went on a bit of a kick designing decks that Wilderness Reclamation would be really good in, including my Shattergang Brothers deck I referenced in my ramp video. But regardless, sometimes seeing a new legend that works really well with a pet card of yours, or some other cool synergy you can find, can be a good start to creating a deck. The one thing I will warn about when starting with the commander is a lot of times I found myself being really excited for a group of, say, 15 cards that were must-includes in this deck. But I found even more trouble when dealing with the other 85 cards I needed to play. If you run into this, start by dumbing down the game plan for your deck, and work on it in sections. Okay, I know I'm going to build a Baylen deck, and it's for sure going to play cards like Overwhelming Stampede, Seedborn Muse, and Jetmir. Okay, well now I need some ramp. Well, Gilded Goose makes tokens and can ramp me, so that sounds pretty good. And I'm likely to have quite a few creatures given all the tokens my deck wants to make, so let's play Cryptolithrite and Jaheira. Okay, now I need token generators and removal, etc. Eventually, if you take your deck category by category, it all starts to fall into place after those first few key pieces you want. You don't always have to start at the commander though. Maybe you can think of some particular strategies that you're interested in playing and build around that. I personally keep a list on my phone of all the decks I own, ones I'm working on, ideas that sound really exciting to me at the time, and some ideas I have that I don't feel like putting a ton of focus into at the moment, but I might reconsider sometime down the road. Not only do I keep track of the decks I play, but I also note the game plans that each of these decks try to execute. Now that I know what I do have, I start making note of what I don't have. For example, before I built Baylen, I didn't have a token deck. To this day, I don't have decks like Super Friends, Counters Matter, or Life Gain, and I use these as the basis for what types of decks I may build in the future. I knew I didn't have a token deck, and I finally found a card that scratched that itch perfectly for me. You can even build an entire strategy, have 80% of the deck basically build, and then just pick the commander afterwards based on what you find that supports your deck well. I personally like to put a lot of emphasis on my commander when deck building, but it is by no means necessary. Another way to find inspiration is to just watch people play. This can be on paper with friends, seeing a cool card or deck someone plays, and thinking, I want to try that. Or it could be by watching gameplay online. My Yidris deck I mentioned before was inspired by an old MTGGoldfish Commander Clash video. I've gotten a ton of ideas personally from game nights. The decks they play are built for the express purpose of being entertaining, and a lot of times they can do some cool splashy stuff that gets you excited. There are also some cool deck building challenges that can take you out of your comfort zone. The 32 deck challenge is a deck building challenge where you build a deck for each color combination in the game. Obviously this is excessive for the average player, but even so, if you find yourself sticking to the same colors every time, challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone and try out some new cards. Just because a deck has blue in it doesn't mean it needs to play as the fun please. Maybe you can get your entire playgroup in on a budget deck building challenge, and that can force you to find some new cards. Overall, finding inspiration for a commander deck is difficult, and comes about almost randomly. But exposing yourself to new cards or strategies, or even making yourself aware of personal blind spots in your deck library can be a great place to start finding cool new ideas to explore further. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing if you've enjoyed. On a side note, I woke up this morning and I saw that I had somehow amassed over 300 subscribers, which is clearly some sort of visual glitch since I barely started posting, but I just want to take this time to say thank you to everyone sticking around. It really keeps me motivated to make more videos. Unfortunately though, I am a full-time student, and winter break is almost over. I'll do my best to keep uploading videos, but the frequency will likely drop for the next few months. I know the YouTube shorts I've posted are essentially previews of my long-form videos, but if you'd like more shorts that don't have a long-form video accompanying it, let me know. They're much easier to make, and I can sprinkle some in here or there, despite a sparser upload schedule for regular-length videos. Anyway, I appreciate you all being here, and I'll see you all in the next video.